Okay, I was watching some ZvT games, and I was really curious about Sue, because Sue's he has like a very particular style. He kinda likes to build a lot of shit, and then he likes to put the shit in your base. And I was wondering how he plays ZvT at the moment, because like, it's really fucking hard to get ahead of Terrence, who just play like 3cc. 3cc Banshee is pretty good, 3cc 211 is pretty good. Like, all these 3cc builds are just like so nasty, and it's like impossible to get ahead is what it feels like. And so I'm like, okay, to make Sue's style work, you kind of have to get ahead early on. That's sort of like been that's been like the core of his play for so many years. And I was wondering, how the hell does he do this in the current meta, okay? And so I looked at some games, and I'm going to show you guys a Lambo game real quick. Just because this is like the most standard opening of all time, okay? This is like the most standard. And we're gonna pay attention to a few specific things. We're gonna pay attention to the queen count, and in particular, we're gonna note the timings of queens 8 and 9, okay? 9 queens is like the most standard thing in the world. And we can just take a general look here. I'll go ahead and mute the replay. The replay sounds are always obnoxiously loud. Queen 4, Queen 5, Queen 6. Notice how fast these are, right? 0 drones here, Queen 6. I think we already have 7 started. 7 is, I guess, up here. Yeah, so 7's like look how fast these are. 5 queens, 3 in production. Queen 8 is already started. Right here, right here. Hold on, let's make a note of this. I set up a thing some time ago. Should work, I think, still. Yeah, nice. So Queen 8 is 406. We'll even call it 406. It's really like 405. We'll call it 406. And then let's go Queen 9. Queen 9 is started at 412. 412. So these are like the most standard timings. It's worth noting that they're like just a smidge on the safe end, because he scouted a 2cc Banshee opening, and he knows everything if I'm not mistaken. He doesn't know about Cloak. I think he preps for like BC a little bit more than Banshee. But like for the most part, this is just really standard. A little bit on the safe side. Because of what he scouted, right? One more thing I want to note is particularly, look at the main. This is the first queen. And then the second queen starts usually on like 41, 42-ish supply. Yeah, I think it starts on 39 here for him. That's acceptable as well. So that's a second queen out of the main. There's a third queen out of the main pretty much immediately after, right? And then when this finishes, usually there's a layer shortly after. Yeah, cool. So 3 queens out of the main. 3 queens out of the main. Main, 3 queens. Boom. So this is like the most standard setup ever. We're not going to go over the whole games. I'm not casting here. We're just talking about some concepts. This is like the most standard thing ever, right? This is 7 queens, 2 more in production, very fast. And these timings are particularly what we want to look at here. And now we're going to look at some Sue games, okay? Sue needs to bonk really hard in the mid game. That's what he does. That's like what he focuses on. And so I'm like, okay, how does Sue get ahead against these greedy motherfuckers in the current meta? And I was like, okay, so let's take a look. And we're gonna note, well, this is times 2 real quick. I'm gonna pop the thing up, and let's prep Queen 8. Here, let me structure this a little bit better. Sue, Lambo. Let me do this. Boom. Whoops. Boom. This kind of go over here as well. Sue, Queen 8. Queen 9. Main. Great. So let's just look for like Queen 8. Let's just look for Queen 8 here. So 2 queens, a third is in production. Just watching the production tab. 4th. 5th. 6th. 7th. Let me double check. Yep, 5 queens out, 2 in production. That's 7 queens. Now let's look for the 8th queen. There we go. There's the 8th queen. Let's check the hatchery. Should be this one here. 1 second, so that's 433. Okay, 4. Oops, here. 433. Like, look at the difference between these two. This is absurd. This is absurd. And let's look for queen 9. Queen 9. Yeah, queen 9. Nice. 2 seconds ago, 450. 450. Once again, I mean, just look at the difference. 412 to 450. I mean, 28 seconds? 38 seconds? 38 seconds. I mean, that's a fucking eternity in Legacy. Like, this is insane. This is so late. Whoops. This is so late by comparison. And it's also worth noting, by the way, look at the minimap. Su doesn't know fucking anything. He's not even trying to scout. And this isn't like just a mistake. This is actually something that some people opt for in ZvT these days. Because sacking the OV costs money, sacking lings, you should try to sack a ling or two. There's almost no excuse for that. But some people want to keep every ling as well. Yeah, look at this drone count. 57. This is okay. We're gonna go back real quick. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Ryung's opener here. Yeah, so this is a barracks, factory, then CC, then starport, right? The easiest way to break down the greediness of the build. There's so many sub variations from here of actual builds, but you can kind of just group things into barracks, and then obviously the natural is going to come when it does. You can ignore that for a moment. You can group things into barracks, CC, factory, which is like absurdly greedy, and considered to be pretty much not safe. And then there's barracks, factory, command center, which is considered to be pretty greedy, but mostly safe. This is like the build that a lot of people play. This is the setup, I should say, because obviously, like I said, this can branch into a lot of builds, but this is kind of the setup that a lot of people play these days. This is sort of meta. And then starport after. This is starport, right? Yeah, then starport after the command center. This is like the most standard, pretty greedy stuff. And we just zip through. And I mean, just look at the worker count. 11 workers ahead. The mules count for about 3.5 workers each. This is actually like 37 workers worth of mining. But still, this is kind of crazy. Worker count 44, 47, 50, 55 to 39. He's up 16 workers. And he doesn't even give a fuck about like saturating properly. Like, that's the last thing on his mind. All he wants is to pump out as many drones as humanly possible. 15, 16, 23. This is pretty acceptable if you go gas and then just rally to the natural. It's fine. But yeah, absolutely stupid drone count here. And you can see it's really just these queen timings that kind of cause all this to happen. Let's watch the main. How many queens come out of the main? Typically, it's literally just one queen. There's a pause. You get the second one on 39 to 42-ish. And then you get the third queen from the main right after. That one is done. And here, Su, he gets the first starting queen. That's it. He just doesn't give a fuck. And his money is still like so low. It's kind of crazy. His gas is a little high, but I mean, it's fine. This is relatively standard. Maybe a hair more gas than normal. Pretty standard. And he's just dumping all of this extra money. What's his ling count? 4. It's 430. It's 4 lings with 4 more on the way. It's just drones. So many goddamn drones. And he knows nothing. He knows nothing. He just has no fucking fear. It's incredible. It's actually incredible. And the thing is, you know, I've looked at a handful of his games, and they all look like this. They all look like this. And clearly, you know, Su's a great player, and he has really good results. So it's sort of a statement, and just by virtue of the fact that he does pretty well, it's apparently a true statement of, hey, if you try to dive, if you try to do something crazy, I can hold this with proper micro. It's gonna be hard. The game can end like in an instant if I screw up, but I can hold this. He says, what, you think the Hellion dive can stop my 8 lings? Prove it. Prove it. Come here. And what these replays have shown me is that the Terrans in Korea, they're done diving. They don't want to try to kill the drones against him anymore. Because apparently he makes it work out really well. It's just sort of a conclusion I'm drawing. But yeah, this is really insane. The fact that he doesn't make the 2 queens in the main. What queens do you normally make in the main? It's queen 4 and queen 6, I think. And so he literally just cuts those and he tacks them on at the end. He tacks them on at the end. Can I like draw like a representation of this in fucking Notepad? Do I have this ability? So it'd be something like boom, boom, time. Boop, 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 boop. So standard. I guess I should do it the other way around. That makes more sense. Let's put a space here. Standard. So there's like queen 1, queen 2. I'll even, the queens are implied here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's just say that these represent the most normal time that you would get your queens, right? Su gets 1 on time, he gets 2 on time, he gets 3 on time. There's just no queen here. And then he gets the 4th when you get the 5th, right? And so like he just has, in this whole area of time, he just has 150 extra minerals that he just dumps into drones without like 0 fucks given. I don't even know where he finds the larva to do this. He must inject every single hatchery, which has got to be hard to do because your queen count's already low and it's so hard to maintain, you know, proper creep control against the Hellions. But apparently he's making it work because his money never gets high. So okay, he builds 4 here. He skips this one. And so at this point, when you're building queen number 7 normally in a standard setup, Su is building queen number 5. He just has 300 extra minerals. I mean, this is really fucking early in the game to just have 300 extra minerals, right? And then he builds 6, then 7, and then 8, then 9 at a later time here. I just thought that was really interesting. I really had no idea how. Look at these 46 workers. This is a 3cc build. This is a really greedy build from Ryung. 46 workers to 66. There's more drones in production. His layer is on time. It's on time. It's not late at all. The vein nest is a smidge late for safety timings, but pretty good. It's good. His 4th is late. His 4th is very late, actually. And I'm pretty sure in the context of this game, Su goes on to have a hard time. Yeah. So this is this funny thing happened. He just forgets Bane speed. Whoops. We've all been there. Like look at the money here. Just no Bane speed. He even gets a Hydra Den, Hydras, and a Hydra upgrade beforehand. That's a big no-no if you're doing this right. It's definitely just a mistake. Let's just one more thing I want to look at here is when this first attack arrives, we're up 12 supply. This is not like a roach army. This is like real supply. The banelings are very, very supply efficient. The Hydras are fairly supply efficient, right? This is a good army. Army values are pretty similar. Terran's up a tiny bit, but you got to factor in. He has like all of this at home. Here. All of this just to stop run bys, right? And so, I mean, Su just has enough to completely crush a first attack and then just take momentum and go end the game within the next few minutes, I would imagine, against a lot of Terrans. Can't you hard counter with a Hellbat timing? I would suspect that that's going to be your best chance if you want to punish this. But I mean, if Su just died to Hellbat timings every time, I feel like we would see that by now, you know? I feel like the Terrans would just kind of know. And that's what every game would look like against Su until he changed it. But that's clearly not the case. And I think he kind of flubs this fight, if I recall. Because he's missing Baneling speed, yeah. Baneling speed, it should be long done by the time these upgrades are done. And it's still like not even halfway. So he has a hard time here. Resources lost, pretty nasty. But he does go on to clean this up. Yeah, ooh, resources lost. This is what no Baneling speed will do to you. Also, these rocks really need to come down just so you can send some army down here and just kind of flank a little very easily. But even with these mistakes, still up 10 supply. He still does clean this up, if I recall. Yeah, cleans this up. Bane speed's finally done. Upgrades are comparable to the Terran. This is about what you would expect. If anything, actually, when you're going layer before upgrades, sometimes the gap is even bigger here. Another 30 or 40 seconds apart in favor of the Terran. So upgrades are something to be pretty happy about here. Still up supply, 20 supply. This is how Sue does it. I have one other game of Sue that I want to look at where he does the same thing, but it's even more extreme. Oops, wrong game. 2 seconds. This is the first one we looked at, the standard build. Boom. Let's look at this one. See ya, Maples. Get some good sleep, man. Get some good sleep. Yeah, okay, so let's just jot down one more time. Oop. Let's just jot down. Oop. The let's go here, and we didn't mark this, we'll mark it this time. Actually, let's just erase these. Let's just take a look at the same things within the context of this game. 4th queen in production right now. 5th queen. 6th queen. 7, I believe. Let me double check. Yep, that's 7. So we're looking for one more. There's 8. Check the hatchery. It started at 4:34. I believe this was literally, hold on, I can, yeah, 4:34. It's 1 second later than last time. 1 second later. So it's basically the exact same thing. And this time, if I recall, 7 queens, 1 in production. If we watch the thing here. Yeah, there's just no 9th queen. He completely cuts the 9th queen this time. It's already bad enough that it's late. He's just completely cutting it. And what does Sue know? He knows nothing. He knows absolutely nothing. Just balls of steel. It's incredible. This is incredible. What's the worker count? 73 to 47. What was Young's build? Was it another 3cc? Nothing's happened. It has to have been. It's another 3cc, the exact same thing. Barracks, factory, CC, starport, I imagine, yeah? Second barracks this time, but same command center timing, same level of greed, just a different follow-up that you have to worry about here. This is a 3cc 2-on-1. Usually you get 2 or 4 Hellions. 2, 4, and then he'll probably stop. Yeah, stops building, swaps over. Yeah. This is a very, very standard build these days. Just completely cuts queen number 9. And in this game, he opts to play Roach Ravager, though it's pretty arbitrary. I think he just plays pretty much everything. Mutas, Hydras, Roach Ravager. Just sort of arbitrarily mixes things up. Probably plays 4 gas as well. I haven't seen any of those replays from him, but like every Korean Zerg plays 4 Gasling Bane. And you can really see with supply dense units like Roaches, like he's up like 30 supply, 40 supply almost. Yeah, 40 supply. Still up workers. Mining is roughly equal if Young is dropping all of his mules. And then he cleans up this drop just once. Just once, forces it to load up even, doesn't even completely clean it. And then he just goes. Just goes. I believe units tab, still 8 queens. Never made a 9th. Never made a 9th. Why? Why would you? Queens are not drones. And he just kind of completely walks over Young here. I mean, there's a lot of SCVs here. How many? 10 SCVs. Yeah, there's not even 16 Marines here. Like, this is so tiny. 1-1 is pretty much at the same time for both players, so there's no upgrade advantage. A single tank of 67 supply with a bank. With a bank, he's not macroing amazingly behind this either. No inject here. He just doesn't give a fuck. He just kills you with drones. A move, A move. Big, big A move. Cleans up the drop, sends reinforcements. Like 190 to 103. Almost nothing has happened in this game. 190 to 103. So yeah, that's how Sue handles the current meta of Terran Grade. Is he cuts queens in order to get out drones just absolutely bonkers quick. And then he just kills you with a 90 supply lead. Good shit. Good shit.